Hey, this percentage poppy over here, you feel me? Not just playing, but did IWM, we ended up with 28%. Again, our goal for each trade at least is 20%. You see right here, IWM rejected off the 9 and rejected extremely hard. This is when I told you guys I was looking at it again. At the beginning of the play, I'm going to tell you where my stop loss is at. Again, at all times, I'll tell you where my stop is at. Sometimes it's going to be a level, sometimes it's a dollar amount, it just depends on the situation. My stop loss was 20 cents. If you look to the right, you'll see my level. So of course, I have the pre-market. I think that's the pre-market low or high. I'm not sure which one it is. And then you have the 21 on a daily. Again, so that's I look on the higher time frames. So 21 on a daily, that means it's going to be a stronger support or resistance depending on where the candle is. Then I have the 100 on the 4 hour. So this area is going to let me know that this is probably an area that is going to reject, right? Especially since it broke through with volume. That means in order to break through again, it's going to need more volume to the upside, right? More bullish volume. So because I have the pre-market, then I have the 21, then I have the 100 on the 4 hour, I'm like, it's a good chance that it's going to reject, right? So that is why I got into the puts. It opened and I got in. Immediately it started going down. I was like at 7% or something. Even if it pulled back right here, I have my level right here, which is a pivot on a daily. Again, that's a strong resistance or support. In this case, it's a resistance. There's a chance that it may reject, right? So at the time when I was looking, we was looking at, I think it was like 0.23, and it could have reached my stop. And if it reached it, cool, I'm good with that, right? But I knew there was a chance it was gonna reject, so I wasn't tripping. Came back down, and even right here, it stayed in this area. It stayed in this area. Right here, this pivot on the 5 minute, you see it keep bouncing, keep bouncing, keep bouncing. And although it keep bouncing, there is a strong resistance here. Again, because you have 3 different resistances. You got the pre-market, you got the 21 on the daily, and you got the 100 on the 4 hour. So again, I'm still cool with my play to the downside. All right, so right when we were back at break even, I told you all, remember stop loss is 20. And again, I'm going to respect the level, meaning like if it reaches the 20 cents, I'm going to be out. I'm not going to have any feelings toward it. If it hits it, cool, right? Move on to the next play. We're not going to hold and hope that it reverses in whatever direction. No, we're going to take the loss, make it small, move on to the next one. Right here, it finally broke through, right? So you have my levels here. You got the 21 on the monthly, so that is a big support. Then you got the pivot. Then you got the 100 on the daily. So these are big supports, right? And then from there, the last major one would probably be the 21 on the weekly. My goal is 20%, or at least to get to the move where I want it to go. So as the candle was breaking through, right, it broke through those with a lot of volume. I wrote to you all that the potential bounce was 206.16, which was the 21 on the weekly, right? So again, my level, I knew that it was a big chance that it may bounce because that is a strong support because it's on a higher time frame. So once you reach 20%, I told you all you can exit. Why? Because our goal is 20% at least for each trade. Or if it goes above when we were volume, just don't let it go to 25 and with the 30, just don't let it go below the 20% because we want to stay profitable. We want to get in the habit of taking profit when it's there, especially when you have a small account. You don't have the luxury to trim. But if it doesn't have a lot of volume and it's stuttering, then you don't have the luxury to hold as long as you could because you want to make sure to secure those gains. Told you guys to exit, we was at 30%. And the reason I told you exit because we're in this area, right? Support. All right, so we got out, we secured profit. Could you have stayed in? Yes. Could it have went further? Yes, but we're not worried about that, especially when you only buy 1 or 2 contracts. You want to secure your gains because you don't have a lot to play with. Secure the gains, get the profit. The goal was 20%. We got 20+% on the play. Cool. Move on to the next. And you see what happened here. What did it do? A huge bounce off of that support. So imagine if you had held, right? You had 28%. Now you held. Now you out of there, right? So again, this activity is to get you guys to get used to taking profit when it's there. So one thing that I do when I'm trying to figure out like where I want to take profit at, all right? So of course I see the percent, but also like I'm a numbers person, so I have to have another number in mind. All right, so if I know I got filled at 0.28, right? What's 20% profit? Like what actual, is it going to be 0.32, 0.33, right? For me to hit that number and I'm be like, all right, I'm going to take some profit, right? $28, 20% of that is 5.6. Let's round it to 6. $28 plus $6, that gives you 34. So that means my 20% mark will be 0.34. So as soon as it hits 0.34, I know it's going to trigger something in my mind and be like, okay, I reached my goal that I had set. So I could trim or take profit depending on where I'm at. But I don't want it to go below 34. So if it reaches 34 and it's, and it's slowing down, I want to take it. Now, if it's super momentum, Cool, you can adjust your stop loss. I sold, I got the 28%, boom. Again, our goal is 20% plus on each trade. This is a marathon, all right? This is not a race. We're not trying to get rich overnight. This is a process because I want you guys to get in the habit of taking profit, get in the habit of knowing why you enter, why you exit. So this is activity for that. Get in the habit, because a lot of times we want to hold on to trades, and so we want to get used to being snipers, but also holding. We're gonna have some plays where we're gonna hold, longer. But in this case, in this scenario, we wow. All right, so let's keep it going and let's get this money.